I heard it, and it was just
I thought I was hallucinating.
It was a thing of beauty, Julia.
Welcome to Comedy Centric, your place for all things comedy. Every week, we'll discuss the legends and the people who built the business. The performers, writers, behind the scenes, and stories that you have never heard. So relax, take a load off, and join us for this episode of Comedy Centric. Now, the host of your show, nationally headlining comedian, a woman with a wicked sense of humor and a killer Jersey accent, Julia Scotti.
I say, my brassiere
So, I
strap
gotta
is
say-
falling. What? Go ahead.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
You good? I gotta say hi everyone.
Hi.
The intro for our show, the lady who does the voice, her name is Stevie. And
Stevie
she's
Nicks?
a little under the weather. No, different
Oh.
Stevie.
Okay.
And she's a little under the weather right now. So I just want to say,
Aw.
shout out, Stevie, feel better.
Well, get better, Stevie.
Because we need you to cut more shit.
That's right. Because Stevie Nicks is unavailable.
She won't answer my calls.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm sorry she's not feeling well. I'm glad to see you back in your domicile. That you
I
finally
know.
got.
I'm
you got
back
the thing
to
fit.
my fireside chats.
But you're still a little blurry.
Well, that might just be me.
Maybe it's my eyes.
Could be your eyes.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah, I see you great. I think I
Oh, you
look
do?
better blurry. I think I look better blurry.
Okay. Good. Yeah, you always look good.
How are
I
you?
got- I got a-
What's up?
Okay. What's up? Tomorrow I'm getting a new garage door. Big doings in the neighborhood.
Ooh.
My
Did
other
you hear about
garage door
Julia
died.
Scotti? She's got a lot of money. She's getting a new garage door.
No, I don't have a lot of money, but I had to put this on the old credit card because my other one, I came home from a gig 3 a.m, and I my neighborhood's pretty good, but I'm old. I can't fight off like marauders like I used to. And so as I'm coming down the street, I hit the clicker. And so and I have it timed perfectly so that just as I get into the driveway, I can zip right into the garage. And when I'm like a quarter of the way through, I hit the clicker to close it so that by the time I'm in there, okay, it's closed. No marauders. Well, last week.
Here's a marauder in Julia's neighborhood. I'm coming for you.
Get away, marauder.
Get away. And then you could just throw a tennis ball under their wheel. Anyway, go ahead.
But I almost did. You remember in the World According to Garp where he drove into the driveway at like 60 miles an hour and he had to wait. I have done this so many times. The garage door wasn't open. It didn't open, and it didn't even occur. It was such an automatic thing for me to drive right in. I almost drove through the garage door.
You went right through it.
I didn't. No, that was the thing. I didn't go right through it. I didn't. Good job. What's new with you?
So can I share with people? I mean, we're older now. What do we care? You have a thing where when you leave the home, you're worried about your garage door being closed.
Yeah.
So did that help you? Like if you had to physically get out and close the garage door?
I hadn't thought about it until you just mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Julia was late to like many shows because she had to double back and make sure her garage.
I have a touch of OCD, and it's my record for coming back to check the garage door is 4 times. I've come back 4.
That's all you got.
Well, I've had to do 3 times to make sure that the toilet turned off because it didn't want it overflowing. So yeah,
No,
I have a little.
happen.
How does this look on me? I feel like a beatnik tonight.
No, you look really like if George Carlin had a wife.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was thinking beatnik, but okay.
Yeah,
I'll take part.
but wouldn't you say he was kind of beatniky?
He was kind of beatniky, yeah. I've been immersed in Lenny Bruce.
All the black. Really.
Well, ever
Yeah.
since we had Ronnie Marmo on, I've been like absorbed in Lenny Bruce stuff. So
It was good stuff. What did I want to tell you?
I don't know.
Oh, well, you know what? We'll talk about it later. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
Let's get into the show. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things about this show that I've really grown to love is that we get to meet. Well, I get to meet comics I've known but not well, and get to know them better. And we also get to meet comics that I've never, really have never, like Ronnie Marmo, but tonight's is one of those guests that I know, but we're not like intimate friends, but I know her, and we're friendly. I'm hoping that we could cement that bridge by the end of the show.
Send her a nice pound cake.
So let me tell you, our guest tonight is, you may have just seen her on the Tonight Show. Boy, the timing on this booking was just couldn't have been better. One of the few times in my life that I, booked somebody.
And had good timing.
Yeah. She's killed. Cathy Ladman is with us tonight. So we're going to spend some time talking to her. And right around this time, well, he did it!
I heard it, and it was just
I thought I was hallucinating.
It was a thing of beauty, Julia.
If he should be bringing it up now, a little bit louder.
No, he is, but you're still.
Is it coming up? Okay. We got congratulations, Jimmy. Thank you.
Yay, Jimmy!
Oh my God!
Jimmy pee-peed in the potty.
I know. We did make pee-pee in the potty. We're gonna be back right after. Oh! We'll be right back with
now
Cathy
we're done.
Ladman. Hey, listen, my album, Julie Scotti, Jersey Fresh, is available everywhere now. You can download it wherever you want, everywhere. It's really kind of funny. It's like $10. Come on, buy the damn thing, will you? And also, check out on the Dry Bar, my comedy special, Dry Bar Comedy. It's called Julia Scotti, Jersey Fresh. So you can, it's my understanding that if you sign up for Dry Bar, you can see like 100,000 comics on there. But you, of course, after you watch mine. But you get a free month. I think it's still going on like that. So, again, my album, Primal Cuts, and my special on Dry Bar, Jersey Fresh. It's so simple. Come on, do it. Do it for me. Do it for your mom. I love you. So, we're going to get started. I know Cathy Colo's been having a little technical problems again there on Walton's Mountain. She's trying to figure it out, and she'll be here as soon as we get her. Anyway, we're going to proceed because I'm really, really excited to have Cathy Ladman with us. She's also a veteran like just about everybody we've had on here. She's had an incredible career. And I don't want to take up any more time talking about introducing her. I'm going to just introduce her. I'm so proud, Cathy Ladman. Where are you?
Hi. I have to apologize. I'm good. I have to apologize because of my lighting. I look like I'm in Phantom of the Opera because the window's coming on the side. I don't have great lighting in this room.
I don't either.
So
please, I go through this every week with my lighting, because I have one of those ring lights over my head.
Yeah, and I don't have a ring light in front of me because I'm facing. It's okay. It's more than needs to be discussed. But
you don't need to make an excuse because we're going to go right to what happened over the weekend, or Friday night.
Okay,
and then we'll backtrack because you did your 10th Tonight Show. Which just blows my mind. And not only did you do it, it was a killer set. And
it's so funny how you don't control these things. I mean, this is material that I know. I have confidence in the material, and it's been a while since I've done a late night show. It's been a while since I've done a set on a late night talk show. And I love the milieu. I love that type of exercise. I feel very in my element doing that. And
you came out like you owned it right from Jump Street.
I just love doing it so much. And there's nothing else like it. You can't really practice that in a club, you know.
No, you can't. But and yet you have to prepare. I mean, I've done a couple of
Yes.
TV things, and it's so out of our comfort zone as comics. You know,
Yes.
you get, would you have you had 6 minutes?
No, I was given 5 minutes, but it was only 4 minutes. I only did 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
I thought it was like,
it was short.
And it seemed short.
Yeah. You know, the week before I was timing it in clubs in LA, and it timed out to 5 minutes. And then it timed out the night before in New York to 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And he said, you know, the segment producer said, look, you can add a joke if you want. There's room to add a joke. And I just felt, I said, I just don't want to. I don't want to mess with it now. I've learned it. I know what I'm doing, and I just don't want to mess with it now.
Yeah, you know.
So I ended up doing short.
Yeah, you wind up. I yield my time, Senator. You know, I just
exactly.
But it was so precise. It really was a thing of beauty to watch. And
I'm getting such great feedback, and everybody's been so supportive. And go ahead. I didn't mean to.
No, what I say, normally I'll see a comic that I know or don't know, and I'll just go, "Come on, really?" And you know, and I go, "I could have done much better than that." But I'm watching you, and I'm going, "God damn it, she's such a pro. Look at this, just perfect timing, perfect everything."
Thank you.
That's all I can say.
And I have to say that a lot of the support and the love that I've been feeling from the community, I think has to do with the fact that I'm representing an older generation.
I kind of want to talk about that.
And I feel very good about that. Yeah.
Yeah. You and I are from you started in what, 78?
81.
Okay. I started in 80. So we're from the same generation of comedy. Mm-hmm. And I think I've always said that we're in every other profession but ours. The older you get, the more seasoned you get. If you're a musician or a painter or whatever, you know, you're revered, you know, except our profession. You know?
Except the performing arts.
Yeah.
I mean, except and being an actor or a comedian or somebody who's on the screen. And I have to say, especially for women, aging is verboten for women.
You still think that, huh?
I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think
it's a social. I think it's a societal thing, and I don't. And I think that society is groomed to believe that, but I think we have to keep pushing against it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you run against that. I run against the age and the transgender thing, but more the age thing than anything else. And I think, you know, you do it the way it's supposed to be done. You just come out and you go, "Fuck you, people. I'm at this 42 years. I'm fucking funny, and you're gonna listen. You're just gonna listen, and you're gonna like me." And that's what you did. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I can't.
Thank you.
Gushing, but you got me teary the
other
night.
You know what? I mean, talking about being older, I was hanging a lantern on it. You know, I was saying, I know what you think of me. Let's discuss it.
Yeah. And you handled it beautifully. I talk about it right out of the gate too. But with me, it's just like, I can't believe it happened. That's my take on it. I come at it from that direction. It's like, what the hell happened? You know, it's like surviving a car accident. It is bizarre.
It's really bizarre. I mean, you know, I'm talking to my friends about Medicare and you know, I'm making appointments get together with people around my doctor's appointments, and it's like what my parents lived.
That's the scary part. That's the eerie part about it, because you suddenly, those commercials we were talking before you came on the air about that the progressive commercials with Dr. Rick, where the people turning into their parents. You know, the ones I'm talking about.
That is a great
Inspired.
campaign. He's a
Inspired. Yeah.
terrific actor, that guy.
Is he? I thought he was a comic. Somebody
I
said he
don't
was a
know.
comic.
I don't know, but he's terrific at it.
Yeah, he really
And
is
the
good at
casting
it.
is great, and the writing is great.
Yep. And so you, all right, gushed all over you now, and you're going to you're going up to San Francisco in February to the
Throckmorton, yeah,
Throckmorton, one of my favorite places in the whole
it's
world.
great. It's just great.
Yeah, when I die, and I go to Comedy Heaven. That's where I'm going to be.
Yeah.
How long are
Yeah.
you going to be there?
Just one night.
Just
It's
one
a
night?
night, yeah. And then subsequently down, maybe a few months down the road, I'm going to talk about bringing my solo show there, which I hope to do for more than one night.
Is that what is it called?
Does this show make me look
This
fat?
show make me look.
Yeah.
Great title, by the way. Give me the elevator pitch on that. What is it?
It's about my my recovery from anorexia. So it's about my my childhood, how I feel, where it developed, the progression of it, and then how I found recovery, and what it looks like today.
I have never. I've known you, not well, but we've been friendly, but not close friends. But
Right.
40 years, and
Yeah.
I never knew that about you, that you had that issue, because you're so confident. You seem so confident.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but when I started doing stand up in New York in 81, I weighed in the mid 90s. I weighed about 95 pounds, which is light. I'm 5'4", and that's
Yeah.
not a lot. Now
Yeah.
I weigh probably around 120 pounds. But when I was in the throes of my anorexia, really in the depths of the disease, I got as low as under 85 pounds.
Holy shit.
And I was not able to function in the world very well.
No, were you doing stand up at this point, or were you?
No.
So there wasn't
No.
even. Do you
When
think
I started
stand-up
stand-up,
helped you?
yes,
with it?
because it was something that I really wanted to do for a very long time. And I was too scared to do it. And it took until I was about 25, just shy of 26, to start doing it. And it got to the point where it was more painful to not do it than it was scary to do it.
I can't believe you said that, because on my wall I have the Anais Nin quote. And the day came when the risk to remain tight in the bud was more painful than the risk it took to blossom.
Right.
And
there you go.
Yeah, that's my transgender experience. That's your anorexic experience. Yeah.
It just you try and try, but I mean, the answer is always to walk through your fear. It always is, and it's just a matter of how long it takes to do it.
We've covered this on a couple of occasions about how the greatest life lessons we've learned have been through stand-up, and how blessed we are to have that opportunity to work through it, because I think we face everything. I mean, you just face performing in front of millions of people, and you came off cute, as cool as can be. It's a great profession we're in. So
it is a great profession. We're lucky.
All right, so you were skyrocketing. I'm looking at your bio here, and I mean, you did HBO's One Night Stand. You've written for TV, and you're in a good place now in your life.
Well, I'm at an interesting place now in my life. I'm in the middle of a divorce from a very long-term marriage, which was a good move for me, something that needed to happen, and I'm a much happier person now. And it's just one piece of the puzzle for me in finding my way back to me. I know that sounds a little.
No, no. I had to go through 2.5 marriages before I found me, and I realized that the me that I love the best is the one that lives alone. I'm
okay.
I'm my own best company.
Right. So now I'm getting ready. I'm actually living with a friend now, who's been incredible to me, and probably within a a few months, I'll find a place of my own
Coming back east?
to live permanently.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay
You're gonna
here.
stay out there. Okay.
I'm gonna stay
Well,
here. Yeah, but
professionally,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, but I'm always pulled back to New York. I still consider myself a New Yorker. I love being there. My sister lives in New York. One of my sisters lives in New York, and we're like best friends, and we see each other as often as we can. She and her husband live on Long Island, so
Okay.
I'm
Well,
drawn.
I
I'm very
always think of
drawn.
you as a New Yorker anyway. So
I know it's very. I
yeah.
mean, to listen to me, it's very hard to imagine me as
Yeah.
anything else, I think.
All right. So I want to spend a little time with the aging thing and in our profession.
Okay.
Because I decided, a couple of years ago, that I was going to tackle it head on, and I knew it. Strangely enough, the issue was not being transgender for me; it was the aging thing, and
Mhm.
I'm approaching it that way. Carol Montgomery's thing too, same thing. It's just
Mhm.
standing up again and giving the world a big, fuck you, that we're going to do what we want to do. But
Right.
you do a lot of acting too. By the way, I don't mean to shift gears, but I watched your Three Stooges thing today. Again, I forgot.
It's the favorite thing I have on my
Oh my
website.
God, I forgot how funny it was. What the hell were you thinking? How did that ever come around?
Well, it was an ex-boyfriend of mine. The only boyfriend I've ever had that I never wanted to see again afterwards. I've always left on good terms from various relationships, but this is the only person that I never wanted to have anything to do with. And it was his idea, and he wrote the scripts, and they wouldn't put his name on it, which I feel terrible about, because I was the comic, and that was how they promoted the show.
They being who?
They meaning the people Fox, who did Sunday Comics. That's where it
Okay.
aired.
I didn't know that. I
So
thought that was just
yeah.
okay. All right.
So yeah, and we did 2, and then we got a letter. I received a letter from the Howard estate telling me that I had to cease and desist.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That kind of sucked.
But it was so fun, and the production value was fantastic.
Yes.
They
That
did
was
such
amazing.
a great job on it, and the
Yeah.
casting was great. I don't know, do you remember, do you know Judy Nazametz? She
I did
played
not know
Curly
the other
Ann,
two. Yeah, I didn't know the other
and
two.
Judy Toll, who's now been gone for a while,
Yeah.
she played
Yeah.
Larietta, and I was
Oh my
Maureen.
God. So good. And you're right. It was put together beautifully with great reverence to the originals.
It really was. The production was great. The directors were great. The whole crew was fantastic. I mean, it was really, really well done. And if you watch it again, the one that's called Blind Date, when I get cold cream
Yes.
in my face, you can we did it a few times, and we were laughing so hard, and you can see me starting to laugh.
You
that.
mastered though
you think
the
it's pretty
iPhone.
funny. Oh yeah. Well, I was
mastered it.
told,
Yeah.
I was taught how to do it. He showed me how to not to go like that, but to go like that, and pull back.
And you aim for up here, don't you? Right above the eye.
I can't remember now, but that would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah. It's just wonderful.
And the sound effects were so funny. I mean, everything they did was really hilarious.
Yeah, it was terrific. But I was looking at some of your other stuff too. Were you ever offered a series? Because you should have been. I can't imagine you not being.
No, I was never offered a series. I did several pilots that never went to series, but I was never offered a series of my own. It just wasn't in the cards for me, I guess. I always thought I could carry one, but
without question, you've got that sort of Anne Bancroft kind of look to you. That even without the gray, when your hair wasn't gray, you had that same kind of.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, no, and she was very funny.
She was.
Yeah, she had a great sense of humor, and she sort of had to be. I was trying to remember the King of Queens episode. Did you?
I wrote it. I wrote the story. It was about It was about him getting something and uh, getting something in a store and buying something in a store, and something ends up in his cart, but he put it in his cart, and he ended up not paying for it. Excuse me, and it was a morality issue. Do you
Oh,
take it
whether
back
or
to the
not
store? Do you keep it
to
around Christmas time? Right.
yeah.
So that was the inception of the story.
Do you find yourself, because we had Gabe Abelson on a couple actually last week, who's really, not that he's abandoned stand up, but his primary way of making a living is writing. And
Yes,
do
and
you,
he's a great writer.
he is a great writer and so sweet. What a nice man.
Oh, what a doll! Yes,
Yeah, he
real
really
doll.
is. Do you
Yeah.
if do you feel like if that opportunity presented itself where you had to give up stand up, you could do it?
Well, it's interesting because the opportunity did present itself in the mid 90s in the form of being offered to write on Roseanne. And, I took it because I really needed the work and it was a good gig.
Mhm.
And I was going to be working with people I knew who were
Were you with Carrie
great.
Snow on that? Were you working
Yes.
with? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was really fun. And it was it was a huge staff. It was the season started with about 27 writers. Excuse me. And I think it probably ended at about 22 writers. But I mean, no
We
other staff is that big.
we had her on and she talked about
Carrie?
yeah, Carrie was on and talked about right. She didn't mention you. I was surprised. I'm surprised she didn't mention you. But she talked about how
Well,
they knew the show was ending when they took all the snacks away.
well, that was the season after I was there.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I wrote on that show for a season. Then I wrote on Caroline in the City, and I left in the middle of the season because I was just frustrated. I mean, I had a recurring role on Caroline in the City, and I was a staff writer, but I didn't want to be behind the camera, and I wanted to be in front of the camera. That's really why I went into this business. And I remember telling a friend that I left, and she says, "What, are you crazy? You were on a career path." And when I think about it, if I had stayed with it, I would have been, a very wealthy woman by now, but not a happy woman.
Well,
Not doing what I want.
yeah, but you had no way of knowing what the outcome was going to be. I
No.
mean, the same thing could have happened the wealth wise. I mean, through stand up, and still
Yes.
could. Still
Yeah.
could.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised if you didn't get a series, in the next couple of years or so, or at least a
Oh, we'll see
recurring.
what happens. We'll see what happens. Anything's
Yeah.
possible. I mean, I think I'm about to live the best third of my life.
That's the way to look at it.
Yeah.
Yes. Once you accept that this is, you're not going to be able to go back in time and be who you were. You start to
Yeah.
embrace this stage of our life.
Oh yeah. I mean, I loved those days, the early days of stand up. They were the sweetest days of
Mhm.
my life. They were the simplest, most razor focused days. I was spending time with people I thoroughly enjoyed. I was happy to be up until 2:30 in the morning, waiting and hoping to get on stage. It was just, those were great days. But those are gone now. I mean, and wishing them back is futile and detrimental, I think, to living in the moment.
Also to your mental health too.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of people coming back now. We just had Nancy Parker on last week,
Oh,
and she's
she's
now,
great.
she's good, and she's coming back too. It's you can't ever get away from this business.
No, and the great thing about stand up is you can always return. You can always return to it. You really can. I mean, it's an art form and a craft that you can put up on your own. It doesn't take a team of people to put an act on stage, and um, it's a great way to express oneself. I think if you
Well,
have the
let me
inclination.
know how you're dealing with this. I think about, I'm still creating, I'm still writing a lot, but it's all age appropriate stuff for me. at this point, but it's also asking bigger life questions. And
Right.
I wonder if I've aged myself out of my audiences. The younger audiences don't want to hear what I don't think what I have to say, but I don't want to work, the Miami. I don't want to work the villages. How do we stay relevant?
Well, I've always worked better to slightly older audiences. Even when I was in my 20s, I always worked better to audiences in their 30s and 40s. I've always worked better to mature audiences who read, who were up on world events, who were thinkers. This has always been my audience. And, right now, I don't think, for the most part, I don't think my audience is in comedy clubs. I think my audience is probably more likely in performing arts centers. But
I
I'm not
agree.
saying that I couldn't get a booking at a comedy club and draw a crowd of mine to that room. But I would think that most of the people who are my audience don't go out to comedy clubs. They go to performing arts centers. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Julia, I don't think that there's anything wrong with moving with your audience.
I agree.
And I also don't think there's anything wrong with not being able to play to everyone. I never, ever thought I could play to everyone.
Yes, but yet you go on a network television show like The Tonight Show, which granted it skews to an older demographic, not our age older.
Not as old as it used to.
Right, and you kill.
Excuse me.
That audience has got to be what, in their 30s and maybe 40s.
Yeah, but they weren't in their 20s.
No, they weren't in their 20s, but even 30s and 40s, even 30s is a compared to how old we are.
Well, I am. Yes, I'm 67.
Yeah, I'm a couple of years older than you, so I'm 70.
So, but the thing, let me tell you, I ran my set the week before in LA. I was at the Improv, and I come into the room, and there was someone on stage who was kind of a stoner doing really well. And I looked at the audience, and they were very young. And I knew that this was not going to be a good set, which was fine, because traditionally, every time I've run a late night set in a comedy club, almost always it bombs. And that's just the way it goes. That's the nature of the beast. It's not fun. It doesn't feel good, but I know intellectually that that's what happens, because it's a very artificial thing that we're doing. We're doing a set for time. We're not really dealing with the audience. I'm just doing a set. I'm doing the words that I have to say that I'm going to be doing on TV. And let me tell you, it was like horrible silence when I did my set. They really didn't.
That same set that you just did.
Mm-hmm.
Let's spend a minute on that, because
okay.
I don't know if I did America's Got Talent a few years ago, and it was just live television.
Right.
And you get 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes.
And it's make or break, I didn't get a chance to showcase it anywhere, because there was no place around here to do it. But to go out on a couple of days before you're going to do the Tonight Show, and you go out and do this and bomb, the set bombs. Did you? The other 9 times that you did the Tonight Show, did the same thing happen?
Yes.
Okay. So
and Jimmy Brogan and I would go around town when each of us was doing the Tonight Show, and we would go out on stage and we would bomb, and we'd say to each other, "This is fantastic. It bombed in the clubs. That means it's going to kill on TV." And it did. And that's how it worked. And plus I did after I was doing the Tonight Show, I did several late shows. So I had experience with this. I knew what to expect. And like I said, on an emotional level, it doesn't feel great to bomb, but intellectually, I knew that it was going to be fine.
What do you think the difference is between doing it and killing on a show and not killing in a club when you're trying it out? What do you think the variable is that?
Well, like I said, it's when you're doing a TV show, you're not dealing with the studio audience. You're performing, and the studio audience has a very different level of expectation than a club audience does. Club audience kind of demands to be recognized. They want to be dealt with. They want their response to be part of the conversation. If they're not laughing, they want to know that you know that they're not laughing. They want you to deal with it, but a studio audience wants you to do well. They really want you to do well. They're primed to want you to do well. The host tells them that he wants you to do well. It's he, unfortunately, always
Right.
wants you to do well. So they just got. It's like a difference between a club audience and a theater audience.
Okay, it's a good analogy. Yeah, there is a major difference between a club audience and a theater audience. Yeah, you're right.
It's like I used to do this. I remember when I would be emceeing at a comedy club, and they would say, Bob's in the audience, and it's his 35th birthday, and we would want you to say happy birthday to him. And I would, I would do that. I would say, I say, like, you wouldn't go to the theater and expect the actors to break script, like Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Well, I'm at Bob's 35th birthday party.
Well, that set, and I'm dwelling on that one because it was so moved me. That set I felt was so almost, I want to use the word groundbreaking. Something occurred during that for you. I don't know what something major happened with your career with that set, I think.
Well, that's like, I don't, this is something that you can't plan. I mean, I do my work and I do the best I can do. And for whatever reason, this struck a nerve. It just
But I put that set in the Seinfeld First Tonight Shows category. That's how good it was.
Wow.
That's how good it was. And my only regret was that this wasn't the era, of course, where a set like that could just, propel you. But I still feel like somebody somewhere had to see that thing and go, holy shit, where has she been all my life? When they just scoop you up, sign her, to something.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. But, to my experience, I've done so many late night sets that they're cumulative in nature for me. There's nothing that has, skyrocketed me to another level. But, if this does, fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no, and plus you're right. It is a cumulative thing. And to have 10 of them when there are people like me who've never had even one. Lots of us have never even had one. That's a real feather in your cap, and it should be, and not to mention all the other stuff you've done. So, yeah, you're right. You have one of those careers that just,
it's been like kind of like a journeyman's career. I've managed to, maintain. I didn't, like, I didn't become a superstar.
Right.
I didn't fade completely into obscurity.
Right.
I just kind of managed to kind of maintain and keep my integrity and keep up with the quality of my work. That's kind of the career that I've had. Have I wanted more? Yes, I've wanted more.
Yeah.
But
to aspire to that, to be, there's nothing wrong with it. You should be proud. I think being a journeyman and being as successful as you are is a badge of honor. You've survived 42 years. You've had a very successful professional life. Don't ever denigrate your career.
You're right. It definitely, to have staying power is something that's to be said. There's something to be said for that. Yes.
Yeah. So what are you doing? What are you working on these days?
Well, I'm doing, I have some, my daughter's calling, but I can't answer it. It's all right.
You sure?
I don't think it's important. She hasn't even told me she's seen, but I asked her, I called her when I was on my way to New York, and I said, I'm really excited to do the Tonight Show. Okay. It was early morning for her. She was sleeping. I said, are you going to watch? Maybe. I mean, that's my daughter. That's what she does. That's what she does.
You're never a hero to your family. You're just
No.
mom, or you're just sis.
So anyway, so I'm doing some stand up. I have some stand up coming up, and um then I'm going to start rehearsing again because I'm going to do Does This Show Make Me Look Fat again, April 28th to the 30th in LA at the Pico
Uh-huh.
Theater.
That's
And
wonderful.
yeah, I want to, I mean, I want to keep doing it. I have to find a way to do it so that I can afford to do it more, because it's very hard to make money at a solo show and to put all that time into it. But I'd like to get some momentum. I really need somebody to put some money behind it so I can do a 3-week run and then get it reviewed so I can take it to other theaters and make a real go of it.
I would think that, you shouldn't have too much trouble with that, getting somebody to put up some money. I mean, considering, again, your background and what you've done. I mean, you're a proven commodity.
Right. Right.
You
And
should.
but it's a tough nut to crack. And I've actually spoken a lot to Judy Gold about it because she has
Uh-huh.
a lot of good experience. And she says at this point it's very important to do some small theaters, but to do the festivals, get out in the festivals, and that's where you can have a long run and have a lot of people come see it.
Oh, like Montreal, you mean? Or,
Probably more like Edinburgh. I don't know
okay.
how many solo shows are they doing in Montreal these
I
days?
don't know. I don't think many. We had
Yeah,
a
we
couple of
used
weeks
to.
ago. We had a guy named Ronnie Marmo on. I don't know if you know Ronnie.
I
He's
do
doing a
know
one
I
man
do know
show
that name.
about, yeah, one man show about Lenny Bruce, and it's being directed
Oh,
by
yes,
yeah,
yes, okay.
yeah, and he seems to have figured that out.
I mean, this is really my first foray, and I'm learning as I go.
Well, if
So,
anybody can
anybody
make
wanna
it
tell
work,
me how to do it, tell me how to do it.
yeah, if you'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
Somebody will come along. Well, I
Yeah.
really I want to thank you. I know
Are we done?
we kind of, unless you want to stay longer, I
Wow,
could
no,
have.
no, no, it's fine, it's fine. I just this is great. It just, it went so fast. I appreciate it.
Oh, that's
Thank
a
you.
good thing. That's a
Thank you.
compliment.
It's a
Then I
great
take.
thing, yeah.
We're having fun doing it. This is like our 27th or 28th show, and Cathy, unfortunately, she again with this internet issue. Um, but yeah, no, everybody that comes on seems to say the same thing. It's over already.
Well,
It's
it's easy and fun, and you're fun to talk to.
well, I love to talk. The idea behind this was to sort of let our audience know what it takes to get to a certain level in our business, and everybody seems to think it's so easy, and everybody's story is different, and that's what I love about it.
Right.
Conquering. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what Jerry Seinfeld, he and I go way back, and what he told me when I was starting out is that it's like 99% tenacity, or
Hmm.
whatever the percentage was, is that you need to stay with it more
Hmm.
than anything else, and don't let the disappointments and the hard times pull you away from it. Just stick to it. Just stick to it.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
think
that
that rule has changed for even for kids coming in today.
no,
That's the number one rule.
I think
Um,
so.
yeah, I mean, I dropped out for 10 years because of I had never intended to come back, but you just can't stay away.
How
And
was it for you to come back?
it was scary as hell. The
Mhm,
business had changed. People
mhm.
who knew me before, because I headlined before, but I had to go through the whole process all over again of auditioning and
Wow.
letting people know. Apparently there was a story of that I had gone crazy. Uh, I heard this later on that I had gone crazy and had a sex change, and God Almighty, what the hell kind of human being is she? And I had to prove to people that I was happy, number one,
Right.
and that I could still be funny.
Yeah, and that you had something to say.
Well, that was the thing, Kath. I had two criteria when I came back. I had to be honest, and I had to be
Mhm,
fearless, and that meant talking
mhm,
about this process.
mhm.
It's been so liberating though.
That's
So
great.
liberating. Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'm
great.
very
That's really
happy.
great.
I
Good.
want to come out. I want to come out to LA, and I've never worked the clubs out there. In 42 years, I've never worked the clubs out
Well,
there.
I mean, the clubs are so much better in New York, I think.
There's none
I
left.
just think the audiences are so much better in New York.
Yeah,
Well, yes, it's different, but I mean, certainly working the Comedy Cellar this past week and running my set, it was so much fun.
yeah. I've
So
never worked
much fun.
there either. I've kind of shied away from. I just didn't want to have to deal with people's questions and you know, and maybe
Well,
looking at it.
you gotta find the places where you're comfortable, and not everybody's comfortable in the same places, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable anywhere I work now, and if you, and my philosophy is if you don't approve of what I do, well then, you know, change the channel or go to a different place. Don't come
Right,
see me. I don't care. I'm not
right,
changing to satisfy anyone at this point.
right.
That's the major difference from what I was before. I tried to be uh, a popular comic, within my community, within the comedy community,
Mhm.
and rather than be a innovative comic. And now I'm trying to be
Right,
innovative.
right.
That's and that makes
I
me
think
happy.
yeah, and I think that's got more staying power too, because popularity is so mercurial. I mean, it comes and it blows with the breeze, you know?
You know what did it for me though, Kathy? I was almost dying. I had open heart surgery about 4 years ago, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, I had quadruple bypass surgery, and then
Oh my God.
even more so than the trans stuff. Almost dying. It really makes you. It changes the way you see everything,
Oh my
including
God. Well,
comedy.
yeah, I mean, that cuts through all gender issues. I mean,
Hmm.
life and death. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm happy. I'm at peace too, and
I'm
I'm
glad.
glad you seem to be taking the divorce pretty well. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
it was a positive move for me,
Yeah.
and
Good.
and uh, and it's amicable, and I have no regrets. I have no resentments. It's just time to do this.
Good. 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 Good.
Yeah,
Good. Good. Well,
yeah.
you obviously it's you're just kicking ass like nobody's business, and
Oh,
again
thank you,
I'm just so
thank
proud of
you.
what you did last
I
week.
thank you. That's very heartwarming. I
Well, when you
appreciate it.
get into the city, call me and we'll do lunch
Okay.
or
I mean, I don't know
something.
when I'm
Okay.
coming back again, but I may be back sooner than I think. Who knows?
Okay. If you are,
All
and I
right.
want to thank you so much. And anytime you want to come back, just let me know.
That would be so nice. It was
All
really
right.
great. Thanks, Julia.
Thanks,
Take
Kathy.
care.
Take care.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.